Happy Friday, everybody. It's once again time for the #1 rated, according to my mom, plastic surgery talk show on the interwebs. It's time for Nip Talk. It's a hot show today. We're going to be talking about breast implants. There's so many types, styles, brands. How do you know what to pick? I'm going to help you out. Then, Cardi B was on the social media this week talking about her plastic surgery. So we're going to see what she had to say. And lastly, Sarah's going to talk about the hot 3 diets for 2023. It's coming up right now.
Live from Lincoln Center in the heart of the Dallas Metroplex, this is Nip Talk, an honest and uncensored show about plastic surgery, health, beauty, and lifestyle, with your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Hermann, and your co-host, entrepreneur and social media influencer Sarah Bennett. Now it's time to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the topics everyone is talking about. It's time for Nip Talk.
Welcome back, everybody. Travis, that new intro, the song. I like it. That's a good one. Did you come up with that?
You know what? I didn't make it. I did choose it, but
Yeah.
I guess you could say I came up with
That's
it.
hot, man. I like
guess.
it. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Well, welcome, everybody. I'm your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Hermann. With me, co-host Sarah Bennett.
Hello.
And the legend, Travis. How you doing, man? I like that green sweater.
I'm not legendary at all.
He's
I
wearing
appreciate
a
it.
lot of green today. His shoes.
Is it St. Patty's
Your
Day already?
shoes are green too.
Yeah, they are
He's
green.
got green shoes on.
I forgot about that.
Nice. man.
Very attentive. I appreciate
Well,
that.
she's a fashion expert.
Exactly.
She's going to notice those things.
I like clothes.
I like clothes, too. I should wear, like, different. I wear the scrubs. Maybe I'm going to have to branch out.
We should have a dress-up day.
A dress-up day. Ooh, I like that. Are we going to dress up, like, in a certain theme or just dress to impress or what?
I don't know. Maybe we should dress up. Just do like a fancy show.
Dude, you want to do that next week?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to dress up, like dressing up like going out, dressing up?
Sure.
All right, I'm in. I'm going to dress up like I'm going to dress like when I go out.
Okay.
And you'll have to rate it. You can rate me.
I
mean, like, rate my-
100% will. Yeah.
I feel like Sarah is gonna always win when it comes to like dressing up
I know.
anything.
I'm not terrible. Like, I feel like, like I have like a certain, it's a style. I'm not saying it's like the best style, but it's a style.
I feel like I play dress up every day. Like today, I was like, I put this on. I was like, I feel like a therapist.
I mean, you look very professional today. Like, you're
Yeah.
ready to, like, I don't know, take over a company or something.
That's right. Always. So always
better
moments
watch out.
away. Just
In
about
the-
to take something over.
In the hip hop world, they say Sarah has big drip.
Yeah, drip. Oh, dude, it's so funny. My daughter keeps me up to speed on all of those terms. In fact, she'll quiz me. She'll be like, she told me the other day, she's like, do you know what it means if somebody sneaks in Nebraska? Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
No, I've not heard of that one.
Sneaks a Nebraska.
It's one for the kids.
Sneaks in Nebraska. Yeah, so apparently what it means is like if you try to like bring something that's not good into a conversation about things that are good. So like think about like the best states like Texas, Florida, California, and then like someone says Nebraska. So I don't even know where it came from. But
Dang, how did Nebraska catch a slug? And
I don't know. Poor Nebraska, right? But no, she keeps me up on all these sayings like drip, and then I quiz her about like 90s sayings and whatnot.
Well, they're coming back.
They are
so
coming back, dude. The 90s are coming back. I've seen it in the clothes. Yeah.
They definitely are.
Hey, listen, actually, have you guys, so this is just something new that I just started messing around with like in the last week or two. Have you guys worked with the Open AI, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I just have seen all the AI pictures that people are like turning their own pictures into
Okay,
AI
so that's
pictures.
part of it. And so there's some apps on your phone now that are, and I have a couple of them, my friends and I mess around with all the time, that will, like basically you write something down and an AI creates a picture, okay? But there's a new one called Open AI that this company is developing, and it's in beta, and you can sign up and you can actually interact with it. And I've always had like this fascination with artificial intelligence. And so, what's crazy about this program is in the span of 1 week, it had 1 million users.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
because people are throwing up these memes about like it took Netflix like, a year to get 1 million users and Instagram like 9 months or whatever, and this thing got to 1 million users in a week. And I'll tell you, this thing is crazy smart. Like, you can ask it to create a business plan, you can ask it to create a movie synopsis. I had it like create the lyrics to a song about a bank robbing mime just to see if it could do it, and it like did it like that. Like, it's pretty wild. And so I was messing around with it actually, and so I asked it like, what are some good topics for a talk show about plastic surgery? And so Travis was like, I think I made a picture of that. Is it up there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I said, yeah, what are some good topics for a talk show about plastic surgery? And sure enough, like these are things that we've all talked about like on this show over, you know, the past few months. Like it's pretty wild.
That last one, the role of plastic surgery in celebrity culture and the media.
I know, it's like it knows
we talk about that every day almost.
I know, right? And then I asked it to come up with some taglines about a plastic surgery show called Nip Talk, and like, you know, it came up with these like, you know, not terrible taglines. And you can literally ask it anything. And it also has like you were talking, a video component. So I said, make me a picture for a segment about a plastic surgeon teaching people about breast implants. Like that one, like it just created that like out of like thin air.
This is the picture that it created.
That's the picture it created. And then I was like, okay, that's not bad. I was like, show me a picture of a girl who's excited to learn about breast implants. And then pull up the next one.
Oh my God.
They look so. Have you ever seen the movie Smile? Like it just came out.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. Is it
She
good?
looks
my
possessed.
gosh. They look like the characters off of Smile. It's so funny.
I'll have to check that out. But isn't that
She's
hilarious?
possessed by her implants.
I know, she's just like, oh my God, implants
The
are so
devil
awesome.
did it.
That's what you're gonna look like, Sarah, when I talk about implants here in a minute. You're gonna be like, oh my God, this is so
It looks like she had like the reflection of implants in her
in
eyes.
her eye.
That's wild.
Like she had like imprinted on
But
them.
listen, if you guys are ever like just bored, like get on this OpenAI and like, I like to like come up with like super like weird, like, you know, like a song about a bank robbing mime. Or I was like, you know, create a movie synopsis about a space pirate that's afraid of heights, you know? And like, it can come up with anything, and it can do like coding. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like everyone's raving about like how
Is
smart.
it free?
Yeah, it's
Do
free.
you find it in like the App Store, or is it? Like
No. It's only on the internet, like on like a
Okay.
browser right now. It's called OpenAI. It's like OpenAI.com, and you have to sign up and like, you know, give it your email address, but it doesn't cost anything.
For sure.
It's pretty
That's
wild. Like it's like literally one of
That's
the.
really interesting.
It really is pretty awesome. Like, and I just have always had this fascination with AI technology, you know, because I guess maybe when I was a kid I didn't have any friends. I was like, I'm gonna make an AI that'll be my friend. and so
That's different.
I had friends. I'm just kidding, but you know, it's like
Yeah,
cool. It's
yeah,
like somebody.
yeah.
I had friends. No, I promise. Is anybody my friend? But anyway, so yeah, check it out sometime. But now, Sarah, you were telling me before we started the show that you were on the interwebs yourself, asking some of your
Yeah, I
followers.
mistakenly asked. I'm just kidding. It's not a mistake, but
Well, I know that you're a lot of your, you know,
As I
because
get on
Sarah's
my
pretty
phone.
big on social media, and so, but you have a lot of male followers. Is that correct?
I do have a lot of male followers.
And so I bet there was some
and-
pretty interesting. So you were asked, what did you ask them exactly? Like,
Okay, so I asked them. Hold on, let me find my pictures because I took screenshots. Okay, so I asked them what I should talk about on the show today. And I gave them like fitness, nutrition, because I'm like, I'm not going to give advice on plastic surgery because
Right.
I'm not a
Yeah,
surgeon.
you're
So,
like our.
or I could have asked you the questions, but some of them are plastic surgeon
Sure.
questions. Okay.
So, like, was there some good ones?
Yeah. A lot of them were nutrition and diet.
Okay, which we're going to talk about today.
Some of them were seasonal depression, and I think we talked about
We
that.
talked about.
I don't know what episode it was.
It was seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, we just talked about
Yeah.
that. So whoever asked that question, you can actually go back and there should be a segment on that.
And then they asked me how to cope with divorce, because a lot of people know that I got a divorce 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a good one.
So that's weird.
I mean, but like that's something. But I'll tell you.
Shout out social media.
I mean, it is, but like that's like a real topic.
People
that,
ask me all the time, how do I do it? How have I
Yeah.
remained so positive? How have I not like let
Have
my
you ever
life
like
gone down the
read
toilet
a
or
book
something?
or done any research on that, or you just kind of did your own thing?
No, I didn't do anything like that. I really just, I think the main thing I did was I really not secluded myself, but I really like went within. Like I didn't like,
You didn't let all of it.
I
like,
didn't try to find somebody to replace
Yeah.
what I had. I was like, I don't need anybody.
I
That was more the mentality of
Yeah.
that I took on.
Well, it takes
But
time.
I'm not like that anymore. But
Yeah.
like at the beginning, I was
Yeah.
very much like, I'm my own chick for right now.
Walled off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to like do a rebound.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's not healthy. But anyways, the other ones were talk about how men's fashion is blank, and I'm not going to say what they said, but they
my
said
God,
find better words for it. So I'm guessing they're just trying to talk about how like men's fashion isn't as fun, or it's boring, or like maybe the trends in it are kind of more feminine now, like wearing skirts or stuff like that have been
skirts. I think I saw
celebrities have
something
been wearing skirts and like more feminine clothing.
Like, do you wear underwear underneath the skirt? I guess you do.
I don't know,
It's not
like
a kilt.
Scottish people. I have no idea. Then there was pregnancy after plastic surgery.
Oh, that's actually a good one. I may have to like. That's actually not a bad segment.
And then I think the other one was the best one. I think
the best one.
How can a man get their foreskin back? That was one of the questions. That one was a little weird.
I'm gonna have to do some research on that one. I guess if you
want it back.
I've never heard of a foreskin reconstruction. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna actually do some research on that to see if I can answer that. Aren't
most men circumcised?
I think in the United States most are.
I think it's getting more to where they're not, though.
I don't know. I can ask around at the hospital.
You would know. But yeah, that was
hey, you know what? I'm gonna look into that because I feel like the person that asked that question, if they're brave enough to like ask the question, I'm brave enough to answer it.
I was like,
so I'm gonna look that up. I have to remind myself because I'll forget. But
I was like, that's a weird question, bro.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me to look that up. I'm gonna look it up. Very intriguing stuff.
A weird question on social media?
No way.
Those aren't the weirdest ones, but.
Oh my gosh, I'm scared to hear the other ones.
If I didn't ask a question, whenever I do the questions, like just ask me anything.
It's like a free for all.
Yeah, those ones get.
I don't get that when I do it, but I have like more women, followers, and so it's a little bit tamer.
Yeah.
I always liked it when I used to do my live streams, which is how this show like kind of came about, and someone would ask like some. Because the guy that was my social media manager, he would try to filter. I'm like, dude, no, ask the ones that are nasty. I want to like, not nasty, but you know what I mean? Like he would.
That are like a little bit more.
Yeah, like off the wall or something. Yeah, I always like that. Just to be challenged, All right, very good. All right, let's roll into our plastic surgery 411. And this topic actually came about from a patient that I saw this week who I saw on consult, and she really had a ton of questions about the different type of implants, because as you may or may not know, there is a plethora of different types of implants. So I want to go through them and kind of just give people like a little overview. And I broke it down in different segments. And the first way I would break down implants is actual brands, right? There's Chevy cars, there's Ford cars. Well, they have that for breast implants too. And in the United States, there's 4 that are used. 2 of them are kind of like the Chevy Ford, and that would be Mentor and Allergan. Those are the 2 biggest implant manufacturers in the United States. Followed by Sientra, which is one that's a little newer. And there's even one that I didn't know about called Ideal. Like they're pretty new, and they only do saline implants, which is weird. And I'll mention that whenever we get to like the other little subsegments of implants. So when it comes to brands of implants, I mean, anything that's got FDA approved is going to be, for all intents and purposes, safe. And then I don't know, like I would just ask, your surgeon. I personally prefer Mentor. It is the #1 manufacturer of implants in the world. More Mentor implants are put in than anything, and they are actually manufactured here in Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
The plants, I've actually visited the plant, and not that I would use them just because of that, but it is a nice little perk. And honestly, really why I became interested in the beginning is because the guy who was my mentor was a very big believer in Mentor, the company. And so when I came out on my own, I was like, oh, well, I'm already familiar with these implants. They're the #1 manufacturer. I'm going to use Mentor. But I think that, if you go to a surgeon and you might ask them what they use, I think as long as they use a brand that's like you've heard of, that you're probably okay. I don't know. I probably wouldn't use Ideal only because I don't like saline implants. But
oh yeah, we know.
But we're going to talk about that in a second. But yeah. But those are the brands of implant: Mentor, Allergan, Sientra, and Ideal. Next would be like the question of saline versus silicone implants.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the next big like differentiation. So in this day and age, it's about 95% silicone implants that are put in, and that has changed many times through the years. Like in the 70s and 80s, it was a lot of silicone, and then there was the issues with the liquid silicone, and they were taken off the market. Then it was only saline. Then silicone came back out, and then it was like 90% saline, 10% silicone, and that's actually kind of swapped over the past 20 years. I'll use saline implants, but I really, really recommend people use silicone, and not because I get anything out of them using silicone. It's just that silicone look more natural, they feel more natural, and they last longer. And really the only downside to saline, the upside to saline is they're a little bit cheaper, but like in the cost of the surgery, like it's not.
Yeah, I have them, but I don't know why I got them. Like I got them.
Saline? Mm-hmm. What year did you get them? Or is that too personal? I don't know. Maybe
No, I think we've talked about it before.
Have we?
I got them when I was 21, so I'm 33 now.
So 12 years ago. So you got them in 2010.
Do math.
So in 2010, really silicone were much more popular than saline.
I'm not sure why the doctor, he gave
Was
me
it
the
older?
option. He was an older man, yeah.
That's it, yeah. The older guys that I guess got burned by the original silicone implants, and this is stereotyping a little bit, but like older surgeons, 60s, they tend to still use saline even today. It's like they just can't let go of them. Yeah. But the saline implants actually have silicone in them too, because the shell is made of silicone.
Yeah, plastic, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually outside of it. And the silicone implants today are solid. So like all the problems they had back in the 70s, 80s, 90s are not really an issue these days.
Well, do you have a particular instance where you would recommend saline over silicone?
No, I wouldn't. If somebody came to me and they said, look, I want breast implants, but I absolutely don't want silicone implants for whatever reason. Like I only want saline, or I'm not going to get them. I would do saline for them, but it's like, it's a lesser product, and so I would recommend silicone over that. But and we've seen all the the videos I make. Those silicone are really durable.
Yeah, you ran your car over it.
I know. That's a good
And
deal.
hit it with bats.
All right, so the next kind of differentiation would be the smooth versus textured. And I think I brought a picture. Yeah, there we go. So there's smooth there on the left, textured on the right. And I actually brought some. And Travis, you're not going to be able to feel the implants unless I throw them through the window. But so this is a smooth, and this is and this actually is a tissue expander. It's not even.
I was like, yeah, that has some type of
yeah, it's got a filling
device
port.
on it.
But for all intents and purposes, this is similar to a saline textured implant. Just you wouldn't have the port on it. But I was just going to bring it so you could feel the difference. One's smooth and one's it's rough, right? Can you feel it?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
this one just feels more watery.
It is. It's saline.
Yeah.
I don't have a silicone textured, and I'll tell you why.
I got a silicone textured. This is what I got with saline in it, though.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, smooth. So the reason that textured implants even exist is the idea of textured implants is that textured implants will actually adhere to the tissues, and so it to a certain degree stops the implant from moving, whether that be rotation or sliding in a direction. Now, ideally, you wouldn't have a pocket that's so big that you would need the implant to grab onto anything. And so the whole implant moving thing for me is a non-factor, because if you do the surgery right, that shouldn't be an issue. The reason that textures, exist, I guess, for some people is there are shaped implants, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the reason I don't like textured implants, and I never really liked them, I always preferred the smooth, but in the past 10 years, it was determined that there's a very rare lymphoma that is associated only with textured implants. Yeah, and it's called breast implant associated ALCL. Now the risk of it is very, very, very low. It's 1 in thousands, but smooth implants don't have that.
Yeah.
And so, I never liked this textured implants to begin with. I don't use shaped implants, which we'll talk about in a second. So I've never put in a textured implant my entire life. And in the United States, I didn't think anyone used textured implants, but there are some people that do for whatever reason. Well, I guess they're probably using shaped implants.
Yeah.
I got a question, I guess.
Yeah.
If textured ones have a risk of cancer, then why do some surgeons still use them?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I guess their reasoning would be, one, that risk of cancer is extremely low, and two, if they're using shaped implants, I don't think they make smooth shaped. I don't like shaped implants, so there's so many implants it's hard to keep up with them, but I think that all of the shaped implants are textured. So it might be that they really like shaped implants, and those only come textured, although I'm gonna have to look into that because they may make smooth ones now. But that might be why they would use it. They'd be like, oh, well, the risk is really low, I informed the patient, and so I'm still gonna use them, so. And that does bring us to the next subsegment of implants, and that is round versus shaped implants. And I have a picture that I brought that you can see here. So the one on the left is a round implant, it's symmetrical, and the one on the right is shaped, and you see it's shaped like a teardrop for all intents and purposes, where it's got more volume on one side. And the idea of a shaped implant is that if you use a larger implant that's round, it does have a tendency to make the breast really full up top, which gives that kind of fake look to the breast. And a shaped implant where it was more filled in the bottom would, to a certain degree, not give you that artificial look, but still be a large breast. And in theory, that's not a bad thing, I guess. But interestingly enough, I was actually in the FDA trial for these shaped implants because the lead investigator, or one of them, I don't know if there was many, was Dennis Hermann, who is that famous plastic surgeon that I trained under. And so we were putting in these shaped implants like back, before they were even released to the general, population of surgeons. And the one thing that we noticed is that they do rotate, and that's a problem because if they rotate, then the breast doesn't look right because then that extra volume gets either like at the top or the side. And we had to take a few people back to surgery to open them up and reposition that implant. And I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in.
Oh, so that's why I guess the textured ones are used more because they don't move as much.
They adhere a little bit. Yeah, because they're supposed to adhere, right? They're supposed to adhere, but like they don't always adhere enough to keep it from rotating. We found. Yeah. And so I don't think he used them after that trial. I don't want to say because I'm not 100% sure because I don't talk to him all the time anymore. But
this might be a crazy question. When they rotate like that, are you able to just like no, you have to go in?
Yes. Wow. And that was the problem because if you have to use an implant that causes someone to go back to surgery for some reason, I mean that's money they have to pay.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. For me, I tend not to use really giant implants. I try to talk people out of it. So I don't get a lot of people that get that really fake look anyway. I mean, maybe to a small degree, but I just wouldn't even use them. If somebody came in wanting, I would just be like, yeah, I'm not interested. I'll send you down the road or something.
I just thought maybe you could like tap the shoulder.
You would,
and like
tap.
Yeah, just like rotate.
No, we never found that you could do that. Like we were having to open them up. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the round versus shape, and then the last one would be the actual gel. And so you still got that one. So this is just your run-of-the-mill cohesive gel, which is going to be your softest one. So I want you to feel that. I mean, it feels like breast tissue. It's very soft. This is a more cohesive gel, and you can see in the shape of it that it doesn't collapse as much.
Yeah,
like and turn it on its side. When you turn that one on its side, it tends to make that teardrop-like shape.
Oh yeah.
Where this one tries to hold it a little bit more because it's a thicker gel. Feel of it. See. So the reason that cohesive or higher cohesive gel implants are made is the exact opposite of the teardrop. It's made to give you that upper pole fullness because the softer gels do turn into a teardrop and collapse when they're in your body to a certain degree, and those resist that. And so you'll get that more full up top. I would use a more cohesive gel implant if somebody came in and specifically said, look, I don't want to have like huge breasts, so I want a small implant, but I do want a really full up top. And I might be like, okay, in that instance, I might use a more cohesive gel. That being said, I much prefer the softer gel because I don't know if you noticed, but like
I think that's what I have, the softer one.
I thought yours were saline.
But mine's, yeah, it is, but mine are not, I don't know, maybe because they're old.
Oh yeah, they lose volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're 12 years old, what happens is they lose volume and then they feel softer because they're not as full. Saline, that's one of the problems with saline. But But yeah, my biggest complaint about the more cohesive gel is that you can feel them. Like the really soft gel, if they're in somebody, you can't feel them. Like it just blends in with your breast tissue, and it feels like you don't have anything in. It just feels like your own tissue. The more cohesive gel you can feel, depending on how hard it is.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd be able to feel that one. Feel it,
yeah. So it's just like another option, but I would use that. I mean, it's not a product I wouldn't use. It's just not one I, say, oh, try this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I find that the round, smooth, cohesive gel implants look good for 99% of people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a real big texture person, so I like to feel stuff. Like even when I'm eating, I can only eat certain textured foods, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, so it's taking everything in me not to come out there and can I just see one real quick?
Dude, I'm gonna bring it to you after the show.
I know it. I'm trying to be patient.
It's gonna happen, dude. Just relax. Go come through the window. You'll get your chance.
I want to call a coworker so bad. Bring it to me.
Come tap me out. I want to get on stage. All right, so the last thing is implant style and profile. And I did bring a picture. This is the best picture to show. So basically the style or profile is how wide the implant is for a given volume. So this is a 275 implant. If it was a moderate profile, it'd be more flat. Moderate plus, it's a little bit narrower but fuller, and then high would be even more narrow with more projection. So, the bottom line when it comes to profile is let your surgeon pick it, because if they're good, they're gonna pick the profile that fits you best.
Right.
Like a good just rule of thumb is that if you're a normal sized person going for augmentation, you're gonna be high profile. And then some people would get moderate plus, and so that person might be someone with a wider chest base, like a 6 foot tall woman that has a larger chest size might want a little bit wider implant to fit. And the other flip side of that coin is a super, super petite, think of a 5 foot, 90 pound girl. You might use an extra high profile that's more narrow. And you just want the implant to fit their breast base appropriately based on how much volume it is. So you kind of have to think, okay, this person wants a smaller implant, so they may need something that's a little bit narrower, otherwise it's gonna be too wide. And so your surgeon should pick that. I mean, it makes me a little nervous when patients come in and say, oh, I want, this specific style of implant.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, man.
So, would a surgeon use a specific implant brand, if the patient did ask?
That's a good question. I mean, so for example, if somebody came into my office and said, look, I really want an Allergan implant. I mean, it would probably be hard to do because you have to have contracts with those companies. If the surgery center had a contract with Allergan, I might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I bet you have brands that you only work with.
Yeah, I work exclusively with Mentor. Now, if the surgery center had a contract with Allergan, I might be able to do it because there are other plastic surgeons where I work. And so maybe, also it's kind of a headache, so I don't know. I would guess I'm an accommodating person, so I would try to accommodate them if I could. But I don't know if, it may be hard because I may have to set up a contract with Allergan, and then if it's a big deal, I might be like, no, it's not worth it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And most plastic surgeons only use one brand because you get, there are perks to using, more numbers of them, and so you'll tend to use just one type.
I can see that, for sure.
And then so lastly would be size. And size range anywhere from usable smallest size would be maybe 200 cc's up to, they technically go up to 800. I kind of don't like to use cosmetic implants bigger than maybe 450, 500 max because there's downsides to using implants that big. I tend to only use the really big implants for people who've had actual mastectomies. So, but yeah, that's just kind of the basics on implants, and it's a good question because if you get on the internet and you're like, oh, what breast implant should I get? You're gonna see, oh, there's all these brands. There's saline, there's silicone, there's high profile, there's moderate profile, there's shaped, there's round, there's smooth, there's textured. And as a consumer, it's geez, I have no idea what I want. So yeah, basically that's it. That's the little bit about each one. And so I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions about implants, please just leave us a comment and I'd be happy to answer for them on another show.
Absolutely.
I have a side question.
Yeah. A side question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this. I like questions. I like to answer questions. What do you got?
This just came to my head. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward would it be for you to do a breast surgery on me?
Oh, I wouldn't be at all. Okay. I've done, listen.
I feel like that would be so awkward.
In my friend group, I've done a lot of them. And I forget, like truly I forget. I've had friends of mine come up to me, now not like if I did it last week, but like I truly have had friends of mine come up to me and be like, oh yeah, my surgery. And I'm like, I did your surgery? And they're like, yeah, yes. I'm like, I did? Like, because to me it's like just like work, right? Because when you're in the,
I know, but
like when
I
you're in
think
the
it's
OR,
funny.
like, I mean, all you see is just the body part. It's like you can't even tell who it is. But
I know,
I did my
but-
wife's augmentation. Which wasn't, I mean, you know, people who say, was that like weird? I'm like, no, that wasn't weird. I wouldn't let anyone else do it because I'm the best.
As you should.
So humble.
But yeah, if you want, hey, listen, you want your plastic surgeon to be confident, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to go to a non-confident surgeon.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think I can do it.
Hey, there's a
I
joke.
think I can do that.
There's a
for
joke
you.
about plastic
What?
surgeons. If you ask a plastic surgeon who the best 2 surgeons are in the world, they'll have a hard time coming up with a second person. That's pretty true also.
I mean, doctors are known for being narcissistic, so.
I like to think of it as more confident than
There we
narcissistic.
go.
Sure.
All right. Anyway, so moving on. I am really excited about this next one. So this is kind of the, you know, what do we call it? The Nip Tuck 911. I'm trying to remember.
I was like,
what do we call our segments here?
Don't.
It's that kind of Friday. Anyway, no, this is good. This is like celebrity news. So Cardi B, who I really like, the bombshell
too.
from the Bronx, was actually on Instagram Live this past week talking about her plastic surgery. I was like, ooh, I got to tune in. And it was kind of hard to find. Like I found an article that talked about it, and I started going through, but it was a live, right? So I had to find someone that recorded it, but I did.
I feel like I already know her top 2.
Do you?
I
All right,
feel
we're going
like
to talk
I
all about it.
would.
I got the wrong note card, man. What am I doing?
Slacking.
The show is off the wheels already. All right, so, but yeah, so the video's kind of long. I got 2 videos, but I want to play them because one is Cardi B talking about plastic surgery, and so if she's telling me stuff about plastic surgery, I want to hear it. Roll that first video,
Let me
Travis.
tell you something. In August, I did surgery because a lot of people thought that as soon as I gave birth, I got my body done. No, bitch, I didn't. In August, I did surgery and I removed 95% of my biopolymers. If you know what biopolymers is ass shots. And it was a really crazy process. And all I'm going to say is, right, that if you're young, if you're 19, if you're 20, if you're 21, and sometimes you're too skinny, and you be like, oh my God, I don't got enough fat to put on my ass and everything, so you resort to ass shots, bitch, don't fucking do it. Like, I am super against motherfucking ass shots. I'm super against biopolymers. I'm just against it. Young girls, do not young girls, because it's young and older, do not, whatever you do, don't get ass shots. Don't get ass shots, bro. I'm really against them. I all the way support you if you want to do alterations to your body, if you love your body, whatever the fuck, I'm all the way with it. But do not get ass shots. I would never fucking recommend them. Luckily, my ass shots that I did when I was 20 years old, they never turned purple. They never got discolored. They never did nothing stupid to me. Like, I never felt pain, because a lot of bitches be feeling pain and shit. I never felt that. However, like, after I gave birth to my son and I gained all that weight and my ass just looked extremely big, I was like, nah, I gotta take this shit out. I gotta fix my shit up. I gotta fix it. You know what I'm saying? I got a little something.
I think she doesn't like.
I
think she doesn't like
likes-
buttocks injections.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so you probably will when I describe it.
Okay.
So what she had done in 2014 is she went to this like illegal type person. It was literally done because I actually dug a little deeper to see exactly what she had done. So it was done in a basement. She paid $800, and someone basically injected silicone into her buttocks, like the stuff that you hear where people get it from like Home Depot, like a caulking gun. Have you not heard of this?
No.
People do this, yeah.
There were cases in like Dallas where people were like getting busted for doing it.
Oh
like,
yeah,
a
it's
few
totally
years
illegal.
back.
It's practicing
Yeah.
medicine without a license. Yeah. So they'll get like literally silicone, like you would buy at Home Depot to like caulk your windows, and they get a needle and they attach it on there and they'll inject it into their breast or their buttocks. I've seen patients that have had it. Like they'll just like she did, she got it removed. Like I've had patients come to me that want it removed. I haven't done a buttocks yet, but I've done a breast where like you had to pull that stuff out. It's horrid.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know. I've heard of that before. Like I've heard of it before, but I didn't know it was illegal. I didn't know that it was illegal to get those shots.
I mean, it's not illegal for her.
Right.
It's illegal for the person doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. I thought that
That
was
is
like
so scary.
I thought that was a regular like medical procedure that you could, like cosmetic procedure that you could do, I guess.
No, I think like in the early days they tried that and then they realized that it was a terrible idea and so like they quit doing it. But of course, you know, people are creative, right? They'll be like, I'm gonna go up to Home Depot and buy some silicone and open up
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, open up a thing in like my van down by the river where I'm like giving people like shots.
Down by the river.
It's a dangerous game. It's a
But yeah, so she did that, and so obviously, literally one of the worst things. I mean, you can die from it. Like you can, you can literally die from doing. In fact, in one of her things where she was talking about, I think she said that the person who did hers had somebody die from it, and then she got busted for it. So anyway, because Cardi B was talking about augmentations, I will go over the ways that you can augment a buttocks. All right. So you can get illegal shots, which is absolutely probably the worst thing in the world you could do. So please don't
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, don't do that. That's obviously terrible.
No.
You can actually get butt implants that are like breast implants, something like this that you put, underneath the...
Do you do those?
No way. No, they're terrible. Like, it's not as bad as going to like a back alley van down by the river and, having someone shoot you up a silicone. It's a little bit safer, but the problem is those implants have a super high complication rate because you're sitting on your buttocks all the time. And
a lot of use.
Huh?
A lot of use.
Yeah. So I would never do those because they're just surgeries are prone with complications. Probably the safest way to augment your buttocks is a BBL, which I won't do those either. Yeah. Like, I'm not a fan of BBLs. Like, there is a higher risk of death, 100 times higher than any other surgery, any other plastic surgery, plus all the other like non-lethal complications. So
that's what I was surprised. I thought that's what she would have gotten done.
No, this was totally legal, like back alley stuff. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I'm glad she's okay. And I feel bad for her because she mentioned that she did it because she felt pressured to have the look of people who were more successful. Like she was a dancer, and then she was trying to get some like more legit like dancing gigs, like videos and stuff, and like they were picking women who had larger buttocks.
Well, it's because she wasn't fully grown woman yet. She was just.
I think she was.
She said she was like 19 or 20, right? I mean, she's.
Yeah.
But like when you get older, women naturally fill out a little bit more. Right. So she was.
Yeah, so I felt bad for her. It's like I mean, she's out there just trying to make a living, and she feels like obligated to go get these back alley butt injections. That's so sad.
That's
I
scary.
feel bad for her. So anyway, so Cardi B went on. So I had to watch like 30. Oh, I didn't have to watch. I watched her whole like live stream, and
I was forced to watch.
Well, like some of it was on like
for
a little
research purposes.
Some of it was a little bit of like a rambling, so I was like just following along, and she went on to talk about BBLs, and this one's not quite as long, but there's a little bit to it. So, but there's some actually good points in this one. So, Travis, roll the next Cardi B clip.
When it comes to BBLs, if y'all want advice from me, I'll tell y'all this, right? Before you get your BBL done, juice for 2 months. And I'm not talking about like juice, like just do that. Like you literally have to make sure your blood levels are right. If a doctor say your blood levels is too low or you have diabetes or whatever the fuck, don't do it, bitch. You're gonna have to live with your flat or your fat ass. It don't matter, bitch. Like, don't ever risk it. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever risk it. But I always recommend for y'all to drink beet juice, carrot juice, coconut water before you do surgery. You have to be extremely fucking healthy. Like, bitch, if your heart is beating a little bit too fast or too slow, bitch, you better not get on that fucking table.
In 1 minute.
That's one. Second, do your research because a lot of these doctors be editing their pictures. When somebody asks me, because the doctor that's good for me it might not be good for you because we have different body shapes. So I always recommend them to surgeon made. Make sure you get a surgeon consultant because baby, when you go to These surgeons could finesse you, especially if you going to motherfucking DR or Colombia, bitch. Oh my God, you fencing for yourself. So I recommend to go to a surgeon consultant and go to the right surgeon, because after you get surgery, it's just a lot of maintenance. Like a lot. Like you might get fibrosis. That shit look fucking crazy on your fucking stomach. You might not like your results. You start getting depressed a little bit. It's a lot. Like, bitch, it's a fucking lot.
So she may have said it a little bit more colorful than I would have, but she has some very, very good points in there. So first
She's
thing
being
was,
very truthful.
yeah, right.
Sure.
And like, you know, I mean, she's like, you know, telling her story. So like, I was honestly like, you know, I applaud her for
real.
for being real about like what she's had done and like her experience. And, you know, I mean, there's actually a lot to learn. So you know, the first thing is like she was saying about being in good health before having surgery. I mean, you know, drinking juice is all about making sure your vitamins are good. And so, I mean, I don't, you know, make my patients juice, but like, you know, I do go over their medical history and make sure that they're healthy enough to have surgery. And she's absolutely right. Like, don't go do these things if like you're not in good shape. Like if you're diabetic and your blood sugars are out of whack, or maybe your blood pressure is high, don't do it. I mean, it just puts extra risk on. The next thing she was talking about is do your research on your surgeon. Very, very smart thing to say. You know, it was kind of hard to follow what exactly she meant, but when she said surgeon consultant, she meant, remember like we talked about the plastic surgery mills where people do like an online consult and they show up and get surgery? That's what she's talking about. Or like going to like the DR, Dominican Republic or Colombia, like foreign, you know, surgery where like you tell them online what you want to have done and they'll say, okay, come on in here and we're going to do your surgery. Like she hit the nail on the head. It's really bad to do that. You need a full-on consult. Find somebody that's going to take care of the things that you want to take care of, formulate a plan, and then do that plan. And so, you know, I may not have said it exactly the way she said it, but she's absolutely right. Like those things are really, really good advice. And
Yeah.
so I thank you, Cardi B. That's good. And so, oh, sorry.
No. I was just gonna say in that same live, she had, I want to say admitted, but she basically said too that she had like a nose job.
Oh, dude, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you watch the whole thing?
I watched some of it, and we spoke about it this morning at my at the radio station.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, great minds think alike.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, so as Trova said, when Cardi B was talking, she did talk about all the surgeries she had, which I think is very cool for her to be upfront and honest. And so, you know, people probably want to know what surgeries has Cardi B had. Well, thankfully, she told us. So she did say she'd had a rhinoplasty, which she said she got her father's nose and she didn't like it, so she wanted to make it a little bit more feminine. So I think that's, you know, totally reasonable.
She does look different too. Like she looks,
Yeah.
it makes her face look different.
Right.
And it looks good. It's just she looks different. You can tell.
Yeah, a little bit. I should have brought a picture. I should have got a side by side. I didn't think to do that, but next time. She did have the butt injections, which obviously it was a bad idea. You know, I mean, she was young. She felt pressured. I mean, I'm glad she's okay because, you know, she was talking about the possible complications of getting, you know, silicone directly injected in the buttocks, and she's absolutely right. Like, you can have a host of problems, including death, and luckily she did not. But she did have to have a surgery to have those removed.
Yeah.
So she had the surgery to have the silicone removed, and she said that they did some revision. I don't know if that's like with fat grafting, like a BBL. She didn't go into a lot of detail, but she did say she had the butt injections, and then later on, well, actually it was this year, had those removed. She's had a breast augmentation. She talked about that. And then later she had a revision. I would guess, based on how she was talking, that she probably got larger implants when she was young, and then she admittedly said she gained some weight, and probably her breasts got maybe too large and she wanted to downsize her implants. I'm just speculating. She didn't say that, but that's really common with people who get bigger implants when they're younger. They do oftentimes downsize them as they get older. And then she said she'd had some liposuction. So she was very upfront about it. I think that's super cool because, you know, a lot of people look up to her, and some people might see her and think, oh, this is like a natural body and I'm not looking like that, and so I should feel bad about myself. And that's totally false. I mean, Cardi B looks great. She looked great before she did everything, but she's open about, I look like this because I decided to do some things on my body. And I think it's good for people to be open.
I think it's good that what she said at the end about even after you have these surgeries, you might not be happy with the results and you might get depressed.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And that's actually, it's like we've talked about it before. That's like a real thing that happens.
I think that
You're not, whenever you go get the surgery, you're not like as realistic as you should be.
Sure.
And whenever it happens, you
That
think
goes
like
to-
all your troubles are going to go away because you had
Yeah,
that.
we've talked about that on one episode. That may have been before you were here. I can't remember.
No, we talked about it.
We did. It was
Yeah.
us. Okay, sorry. Because we did a few before you got here. Yeah, I mean, definitely you're going into surgery for the wrong reasons if you think it's going to cure some depression. And so that's where it goes to like picking a good plastic surgeon that takes the time to talk to you, you know, and you know, that's one of the big things for me in my practice is like when I have like a new consult for a patient, I schedule an hour, you know, because I need to talk to them, see what they want. I need to tell them about the procedure, examine them, and really go through it in a lot of detail. So that's why I don't like things like, you know, foreign travel for plastic surgery or plastic surgery mills where like you know, fill out a form online. I mean, I just think that that's asking for trouble. But anyway, I liked Cardi B's thing. It was very entertaining to watch. I watched the whole thing.
She's
It was
always.
like 40 minutes long.
She's so funny.
She is funny. Like I love the way she's just like really real. You know, she's like not. I mean, it must be cool to be like a rock star and just be like say whatever you want. Like, you know, I can't roll into like a consult and talk like she talks. Like they'd run me out of town. Like, but she's a rock star. She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She's cool. Right on. Anyway, thanks Cardi B. Come be on the show. We'll talk about plastic surgery.
For real.
Yeah. All right, Sarah.
Oh,
I understand
it's my turn.
It's your turn. You're going to tell us about diets. And
Yes.
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just in time to get it on your mind for the new year. That's
I'm
why
ready.
I wanted to talk about it. And plus, that was a lot of the things that people asked me
About
online.
diets? Okay, is
Diets.
there, well, so are these.
So I literally went on my computer and typed in what are the best the top diets for this year.
This year. So
It's
like,
2022.
Okay, so
right
2022.
now.
So the best
But
diets of this
leading
year.
in
Leading into the new year,
Yeah,
of course.
leading into the new year. This is what 2022
what'd you
is
find?
telling you. So the first one, I think you can just show the whatever ones. Okay, so this is number 3. This is the third.
All right,
most
so we're starting at
popular.
the bottom, going to the top.
Yeah, so this is flexitarian diet. Let me just tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Okay, so primarily, if you look at this pyramid that I got over here, primarily you see what's at the base, fruits and veggies.
Okay, I like
and
that.
that's going to be pretty much the base for all of these diets.
Now, does it tell you certain amounts?
The flexitarian diet, that's one of the downsides of this diet. There's no real guidelines. There's not a strict guideline. It's not an all or nothing type of situation.
I see avocados are on the bottom, so I can eat like a whole bowl of guacamole.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no strict thing about it. So you can see the bulk of it is pretty much vegetarian based. Then it goes, and then at the very top, at the top of this pyramid, that's when you're going to get your animal products.
Now, whole grains, is that like bread?
Yeah, that can be bread.
I thought bread was high in calories. I thought you weren't supposed to eat bread. This is like something different.
But you're supposed to eat bread that's more, the reason why they tell you to eat whole grain bread is because it's better for your body whenever it's metabolizing. Because whenever you eat bread that's like white, it's just like the regular white bread, it metabolizes too quickly and goes to sugar too quickly and goes to fat too quickly.
So this one has meat at the very
top.
Like
That
you're
it doesn't want you to eat meat very much.
Really?
If at
I'm
all.
not sure I could do this. I'm like a carnivore.
So if you see those little bubbles, it says eat in moderation, and then in the green it says to eat. So like that's what it mainly wants you to stick with. It doesn't want you to eat it doesn't really want you to eat chicken or really even dairy or animal products very often.
I'm probably gonna have to pass on this
Yeah,
one.
it's strict in terms of
Dr.
vegetarian.
Hermann says no to the.
So, but they did make 3 different types of this diet. It's called climatarian. It limits beef and lamb consumption. I don't know why lamb is in there. And then the other one is one step for animals. That's an approach. So it eliminates chicken for some reason.
Is this like some sort of like vegan push kind of thing, or is it like a real diet?
No, it's a real diet.
It's a real diet.
Okay.
I didn't know if because they say, I know it's like, I don't want to say trendy, but like there's a lot of like talk about veganism and like, oh, don't eat animals, and I'm like.
Well, I think there's a lot.
they
A
taste
lot
good.
of it is people are realizing that it's not as healthy as you think to eat animals.
I'm sure it's probably not super healthy.
As much anymore. Like people are just like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like, well, okay, so let me play
I
doctor.
guess how are animals
I'll play
in
doctor.
America?
I mean, a lot of meats are high in cholesterol. You know, I mean, especially I love like Wagyu, which is like that really fatty steak. I
Yeah,
mean,
it tastes
that's
like it's
probably,
like butter.
Yeah, it's like terrible
Butter
for
beef.
you. I mean, I get that, but like I eat a lot of chicken, which is pretty lean.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that chicken was.
Mostly chicken. That's like the main ingredient.
Yeah,
in
chicken.
most,
I like tuna too. I don't eat a ton of tuna.
protein
but
diet.
Huh?
But yeah,
I love sushi.
what's
Sushi good? Is there a sushi diet? Sorry.
I'm sure there is. Okay,
right,
so the next
Mediterranean,
one.
okay.
Mediterranean. This is number 1 actually. Mediterranean diet has been around for a very long time.
Oh, so
this
the
is
base that has physical activity, which I think is great. Like that's awesome that it includes that.
Yeah, that's really what it's based off of, and I think it's kind of cool because Mediterranean diet makes me think of like Greece and stuff like that. Whenever I think of Greece, I think of wine. So they
It has
include
wine on there, yes.
Yeah, they include wine on there.
So that'll
I
help
thought
your
that was
heart and
nice.
your memory as you get
Yeah.
older.
And then their next part of their pyramid is fruits, vegetables, and it includes whole grains and all of that stuff. So their first level of their pyramid is pretty much everything that other pyramid had in sections.
Right, okay. But it doesn't say like how much of each pyramid you're supposed to eat?
So yeah.
Oh, it does, okay.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it does. Okay, all right.
There is no limit on this. It's severe. It just severely limits processed foods, added sugar, and red meat.
Well, and you know, I mean,
It
that's
says the
smart.
disadvantages of this diet are there's no guidelines for specific portions, calories, or meal configurations.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I guess
Um,
if you're not eating processed food and red meat, I mean, it would take a lot of salad to like
Yeah.
overcalorie.
I think the main thing about this diet is that a lot of the things that they want you to eat are anti-inflammatory.
Oh, nice.
Which is the stuff that we talked about
Yeah.
before, are the supplements that we went over.
Yes. Yeah.
And then some of those other drugs that we were talking about
Okay.
before.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. So next one. This is the DASH eating plan, and this one stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. This is the
Okay.
second most
So this is a
popular
diet,
diet.
specific for lowering your blood pressure?
Yeah, hypertension, yeah. So, and it's recommended by the National Institute for Health. So this is actually from their
from the
website.
NIH. Okay.
Yeah. It's very similar to the Mediterranean diet, but has specific serving size portions. So I would say if you like the Mediterranean diet, but you want this
More structure?
structure, do
Yeah.
this diet,
Okay.
DASH. But sometimes it can be too structured for most. But so like if you're more of a person that's like, sometimes I want to, like, you know, just somebody who's not doesn't thrive on organization, doesn't thrive
That'd
on
be me.
structure, I would say do the Mediterranean
Okay.
diet. But if you want more structure, especially if you're starting out with a diet, it's good to be like, okay, what are the calories, or what is it that I'm eating whenever I eat an avocado? Like, what does that look like
Right.
for my calorie intake? But as you move on and with consistent use of a diet, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Diets are not, for me personally, and I think most health educators would say this, diets are not meant to be used for forever. They're meant to
Guideline,
control. They're
teach
meant
on
to
the right.
like be a blunt control use, and then you're supposed to be able to control your own habits. You're supposed to
Gotcha.
be able to train yourself to live a moderate, balanced, healthy lifestyle. And I think that's what the Mediterranean diet really wants to push, is that you can eat anything you want, really. It's just limit certain parts that are not good for you and increase things that are. So I think that's a really good way to look at it. I think I would definitely recommend if you want structure, do this DASH diet and then do Mediterranean diet. I'm really not a big fan of this flexitarian diet though.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Of all of them, that was probably my least favorite.
It seems a little bit too chaotic for
Yeah.
me.
I mean,
You're like, what are you? Just make a decision.
I get like.
But I guess that's in the name.
I get like, non-processed foods and, limiting red meat, which that's probably my worst thing because I like red meat a lot. But I do like, I think I could maybe do the Mediterranean one.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And it's been around for forever.
Yeah.
That one has the most
Has it?
information on it.
All right, I'm going to have to
honestly.
look into that one.
And I'm surprised they didn't talk about, like, when I typed in diets, they didn't like talk about keto diet.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Atkins diet.
Yeah. Those ones are not the most
Things
popular
like
ones.
get cyclical and, go in and out of vogue.
Yeah.
Have you actually tried or like consistently tried any of those?
Whenever
I mean,
I
you work
try
out
to,
so
yeah, I
much.
know. Whenever
Yeah.
I try to diet, I just count my macros.
Yeah.
But that's like a CrossFit thing.
I gotta get back into shape, man. I'm like out of it right now. I keep saying that every show. One of these days, I'm gonna get back into it.
Yeah, you should just come lift some weights.
I need to. You know, I have
Show
a
'em what
gym
you
at my
got.
house.
Oh.
I literally have a gym at my house. It's just, you know, I work until like late, and then family, and then I gotta prep for the show. I mean, I just need to like dedicate
Working
time
out,
to it.
yeah, working out is a big responsibility.
Once I
when you
get into
decide
it
to do
though, I like do tend to stick, you know, it's getting into it again, you know, because you know when you haven't done it for a while, like you're sore and you feel like crap and you got to make time for it. But then when you get into the routine, it's easier to stick with
Yeah,
it.
that's why I like group fitness, because I feel
Yeah.
like I have people. I mean,
Right,
they
you have
probably
people holding you
don't.
accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have accountability.
Smart.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
I do.
Well, Sarah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I really like that. I'm gonna look into the Mediterranean diet. Let me try it.
yeah.
Like
And
it.
I mean, you like fish.
do
It's
like
definitely something that
Yeah.
they want you to eat a lot, which
Yeah.
I think is in the name,
With extra butter.
Mediterranean.
Just kidding.
Yes.
I do love fish. All right. Well, for all you guys out there, if you have any questions about any topics on this show, please leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. We would love to talk about a topic that you want us to talk about, and we will see you next week on Nip Talk.